Wait just a second. And it might be doing it again, but that's okay. We're gonna just go with it. So, hey everybody, welcome back. Today we have Kate Bromley. I'm so excited to talk about her new books with you. Kate, welcome back to the live. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm a relatively new author. I just had my second book put out. I'm just the biggest fan of romance and reading, and just getting to write books is such a dream come true.
It is. You have done a great job with for a new author, and she says new, and she has two of the greatest books that were huge hits here in the Book Talk, Bookstagram, and World here. Tell us a little bit about where your love of reading and writing began.
It was kind of later on. It wasn't really until I went to college. Because I feel like when you're in high school, you just have a set of books that like you have to read. So I didn't really branch out much from what I was told to read. And then once college came around, I discovered the romance genre, and I just completely fell in love. And I just went through the library, like the romance section. I was in a constant state of reading romance, probably for like 5 years plus, until I decided to start writing them because I just read them so much.
Okay, who were some of your OG romance authors?
I think the first were like Lisa Kleypas and Stephanie Lawrence. It was historical. I started with historical, and I didn't even know they existed really. And then you discover these historical romances that goes through a family tree. So you're like, oh wow, this book was really good. And then you look at the author and you're like, they have 20 more books. Like they have so many more that I can read, and it's all family members. So it was just so easy to get lost, in the genre. It was amazing.
I felt like that was me at the library too, going through all the Judith Krantz, Nora Roberts, anything my mom really had sitting on her shelf. I was like, oh, what's this? And I feel like there's so many more books here today that our kids read and this next generation can read, that it's like, I did not have this when I was doing.
Yeah, it was my mom too who introduced me. She took me to the library and she's like, I think this section would be good for you. You should just go peruse. And that was it. That was
They
it.
were more closed door back then, and now my daughter will say, "Can I read that?" And I'm like, no. So, yeah.
About that. They're so
So,
good.
what are you currently working on right now?
Right now, I'm editing my third book, which I just released the title recently, and it's called Ciao for Now, and it's set in Italy, and it's another romantic comedy. It's a standalone, so anyone could pick it up, and it's supposed to be released on June 6th, I believe. That's where we are right now, but we'll see, and I'm just so excited about it.
Oh, I'm so excited. If you guys have not grabbed these, I will link them below, whichever platform you're watching from right now. But if you're looking for a great contemporary romance with, hints of humor, love, all the things, all the feels, you're going to love these two. What are you reading right now?
Right now, it's hard. I have a TBR list like a mile long, and I have so many books that I need to read. The next three that are on my agenda, what's first? I want to read By the Book by Jasmine Guillory. I want to read Book Lovers. I need to read Love on the Brain. I mean, I have so many. So those are what I'm aiming for next.
Oh, that's
Those are my go-to authors.
great TBR. I loved Book Lovers. It's such a neat hint into the literary world with an editor and an agent, and seeing. I loved that one. I think that was my favorite Emily Henry book.
When I read the description, I just got so excited because it took me right back to querying, and to see a book from the eyes of an agent. I just thought that was so smart and so interesting, and I'm so excited to dive in.
It is really good, and the main character hero is kind of nerdy and not your typical alpha male or anything. I always like the nerdy characters. I think that's why I love all the STEM focused books right now, because I love all the smart characters that are super just unapologetically nerdy. I love that.
I love that too. That was kind of what I leaned into with Here for the Drama with Liam. He's got a nerdy vibe, and I just love him so much.
What are your favorite tropes?
It's so, I feel like it's the ones that I wrote about first. So Second Chance Romance, which was in my first book, that's probably, I think that's got to be my top, is Second Chance Romance. And then the sort of forbidden romance, which I then put in here for the drama. Those are probably my favorite. And I can never deny a good enemies to lovers, that's amazing too.
I know enemies to lovers is so good. I feel like that's everybody wants that, and it's hard to write because I always get too mean, and then I'm like, oh wait, that's too mean. We're not
All the time too. I'm like, do I tone that back? I'm like, but I need the tension. And it's really hard to find that balance. It's very tricky. But
very.
when it's done right, it's like so right.
What are you watching right now?
Oh gosh, what am I watching? Not that much. I basically just watch shows on a loop. Like I watch New Girl. I start from the beginning and then go like all the way to the end. And then I watch Bridgerton and I start from the beginning and I go to the end and just things like that. Like I just find a few comfort shows. Derry Girls I think is coming back, I think finally in a week or two on Netflix. So I should branch out more, but I feel like what I do is like I just keep watching the shows that I love. But I should branch out more.
That's one thing. There's this author I really like. She writes nonfiction, Brene Brown, and
Hmm.
she says that she purposely puts on those shows as white noise just to. She kind of like her brain will wander, and that's how she gets her best book ideas.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I wish I could do that. I have to be in like a quiet room when I work. Like I can't I try like listening to music and even that is is hard for me. It's so crazy how like everyone has a different, environment or things that help them work.
I think I listen to the same playlist, and it's funny because I've trained my brain that when that playlist is on, my brain wanders to that world, and I think about like different conversations and different scenes. I think of them as scenes because I see things cinematically, and that's how I write them. And so I can hear a song on the radio driving, and my mind will automatically wander to that place and those characters. It's weird.
That's so great. I should try that. I love that
It's
you
the
can
same playlist, though. That's the trick. You can't
like
deviate from the playlist. You got to stay in that lane.
how
And
do you pick? How do you pick which songs to put in the playlist?
so, um, it, I don't know if you use Amazon Music or Spotify or whatever you use, but when I hear a song and it reminds me of that world, uh, or that, like I'm on the third book right now in my series, I will just kind of hear it and think of it. My mind will naturally wander to that place with that song, and then I add it to my playlist. And then just at the bottom, it'll say recommended, and then you can look through those and see if any of those, and then refresh and keep doing that. And then I have like 50 to 60 songs that are similar to that world. And
Aw.
and I don't know, but it's something psychological that I hear that and I think about those characters. And sometimes I'll do that and my mind will be completely in another world. And my husband will be like, where are you right now? I'm like, I'm in my book world.
Oh, I love that. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna give it a
Definitely
try.
give that a try. What advice would you have for an aspiring author?
My biggest advice is always just don't stop and like believe that it can happen. Cause I feel like I wanted to write for a long time, but I just never bothered because I was
Yeah.
telling myself, like, it's not going to happen. Like, there are writers out there, and like, you're not one of them. Like, that's just not like an attainable goal. And it wasn't until much later on in life that I was like, no, it is attainable. And like, especially with so much information that's like out on the internet now, I must have watched like 1,000 YouTube videos of from an agent's perspective, from author's perspective, from editor's perspective. There's such a wealth of knowledge out there that you can really just make a list of all the things you need to do to write a book, if you want it to get published, if you want to self-publish, it's all there for you. So if
Yeah.
you want to do it because you absolutely can and it's 100% attainable. So I feel like the biggest hurdle is just telling yourself that you can do it and then doing it.
That's fantastic advice. Well, where else can we find you and support you online?
You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter. They're both Kate Bromley Writes at Kate Bromley Writes.
I love
And
that.
of course, the website.
Awesome. Well, everybody go and be sure to leave her an Amazon review, give her lots of stars and love, and follow her on Amazon so you don't miss out on any of her upcoming releases. Also, leave her some Goodreads reviews and follow her on social so you don't miss out on anything. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun.
All right, talk soon. Hold on one second. Thanks, guys, for watching.